or afternoon.
Good evening or afternoon.
Yeah, good evening. That's actually how I begin all my conversations.
Yeah. That's your two choices.
Good evening or afternoon. Mom.
That's the only person you talk to.
That's really that she's the only one who will talk to me anymore.
Yeah. Right on. Everything else has to be recorded.
Anyways, welcome to Big
posterity,
Human Dead. I am Neil McKay / Buddy Black, and with me is Rob Ayers
Hello.
/ SR Ayers.
Yes.
I guess if you read, it depends if you read it or you say it.
That's true. It's true. Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. That's a nice way to put it. So, back from the dead.
Yeah.
I guess. Whatever that. I don't know what that means. It sounds cool because we like the horror and stuff. But anyways,
right.
So this has been our this will now be our second installment on just comic books. Anyways, just like picking up a GN.
Yeah, doing it like it's cool, just taking it to the limit.
A gun. Yeah, but like Rob said, pushing the envelope and reading a graphic novel and then discussing it.
Yeah.
Which, as mentioned in our last episode, we are a very cutting edge, hip podcast. We don't do what other people have done before.
No, breaking news. I mean, this is
yeah. So without further ado, here's a
something
comic
great
from
for us.
1989.
Yes, we're now not even breaking the 90s. It's just
no, that's kind of nuts. Anyways,
brace yourself, people.
Arkham Asylum, a serious house on serious Earth.
Yeah, this is such a good book.
Here we go. And this comic is special because two of Rob's favorite people in the world, actually.
In the world. If there's two people on Earth that I would have to deem my favorite at any given moment, it would be these two people. That's not true, but the one, it's true. I can't lie.
Yeah, no.
Thought about throwing a little false modesty in there, but it's true. I love them both.
Yeah. I wonder if that happens. Sorry, we're talking about Grant Morrison and Dave McKean.
If we just refer to them as
I wonder how often that happens. Where just like a lonely person leaves their worldly possessions to like Bob Barker or something like that.
I've heard of it happening.
Really? I don't know if I've heard about people leaving their fortune to their cats. But
yeah, there's a couple cases. There was one I heard about for some dude who was just on a TV show for a while. I think it was like Manimal or something. Like the star of Manimal was some relatively obscure nowadays short-lived TV series. The star got the worldly belongings of a super fan. Maybe that was a fever dream, but I'm pretty sure there's a documented case. In any case,
I hope it wasn't a dream. That would be
that would be a sad dream if that's what I escaped to. The star of Manimal.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, I had the most restless sleep ever last night. I kept on dreaming about the star of Manimal inheriting my aunt's couch. That'd be awful.
So,
anyways,
Grant Morrison and Dave McKean, they both knocked out Arkham Asylum, and they're the letterer. If we want to get into it, there's a couple other people. Karen Berger being the editor. The letterer, I forget who lettered it, which is shitty because they did a really bang up job. Like everyone was firing on, everything was firing on all cylinders. Everyone was on point.
It was actually Gasper Saladino.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that dude, and he did everyone broke some ground on this book.
This is a really good looking book.
Yeah.
Again, this is another case of why reading shit on a tablet Is like this reading comics on a tablet shit that I've been doing is just not doing it for
I would
me.
think that it would work okay for this one. I mean, you got Dave McKean's art where you can like just like unscrunch it or whatever the official terminology from Apple is, where you can zoom in infinitely and check out all the detail. Is it?
Yeah, I felt like, and like it's not like I have an enormous tablet.
Okay.
Like it's I mean, it's bigger than even kind of like the biggest touchscreen phone, but it's still not enormous.
Okay.
And I don't know, just like going through this, it's like, yeah, I really wish that I could actually look at this and examine it rather than, you know, like, yeah, you can like zoom in and zoom out and all that shit, but whenever you zoom in, you're missing something else. And like,
that's true with this book and like Dave McKean and Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison is also he's a master at laying out the book. Like he knows who he's working with and he knows how to lay out a comic book page. He's not just a good writer, but like he's a good storyteller for this stuff. So I can imagine that. Like,
Yeah, no, sorry. All I was going to say, like, you're absolutely right. And this entire book is like a master class in page layout. Like everything works exactly where it is. It's really, really good.
Yeah, this was one of the first graphic novels that I ever picked up, actually. Right
on.
Yeah, and I wasn't prepared for it. Like this, before then it was all, floppies, just single issues of this and that, and you know, you go and I hunt down, 1 through 5 of this arc or this mini series or whatever. And this was one of the first books where I saw at the comic shop that I would go to, that this was one of the first ones where it was a complete story. And I don't know why the comic shop was so slow on the draw to do this, or maybe this was just back in the time when that wasn't so popular. I don't actually recall so well. But yeah, this was one of the first full stories, like full comic books, where you get the whole thing and it's a big, huge format. And I got it, and it just blew me away. Like I didn't know you could throw all this different shit on the page and make it work. I mean,
and I was gonna say too that this sort of era, sort of the end of the '80s, was a really awesome time for not just DC but almost specifically Batman books. Like,
yeah, it's true.
Between the Dark Knight and the Killing Joke, and then this thing, like that was just awesome.
Yeah. Even in the series, like in the monthly Batman books, they were really like driving it home, letting the writers and artists be a little darker if they wanted, a little more fun. You had like Norm Brayfogle with his super stylized Batman at the time, and you had people like Alan Grant. He was a British dude who did a lot of stuff for 2000 AD, and then he came over and did a bunch of Batman stories. And so like things were getting weird in the Batman universe at that time. And so it's true. It was a pretty cool time for this dark exploration.
Yeah. And I don't, mind you, like I still would have been pretty young at the time that this came out. I think I was 7 years old probably when this came out. So I was like, I think I probably had like a handful, shouldn't say a handful, I probably had like a box or two of just sort of like random single issues.
Right.
But like looking back, I don't really know if DC was really competing with anybody really other than Marvel at this time. Like,
at that time it was only those two.
Dark Horse was around, but I don't think that they had a big title.
No. They had like Aliens, and maybe they had Predator by then. But Dark Horse, that was, if you wanted indie comics, it was Dark Horse. That was it.
Yeah.
And they weren't, it wasn't even called indie comics. It was just that other one, the company that's not Marvel or DC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the whole book is they sort of go back and forth between telling the origin story of Arkham Asylum. So the whole idea is that this dude named Amadeus Arkham lived in this old house with his mother.
Right.
She was dying.
Gross.
He left because he was a doctor, so he left to go and evaluate a murderer or something like that, like a sociopath or whatever. And it was at that point where he started to be like, oh, I should really, like, this sucks. Like, you know, the only crime that this guy committed was that he was born crazy.
Right.
Is the idea. So,
so progressive.
I don't know, I can't remember, like, I mean, his mother definitely dies first, and then I think he meets his soon-to-be wife, and they have a kid, and I think that's when he does the interview. And then when he comes home, the guy, the mad dog, the guy who he interviewed has murdered his wife and his kid.
Yeah.
Before that, while he was over in England, he got into the occult and stuff like that. Like, he spoke to, like, Crowley and all this shit.
Yeah.
And then opens up the mental institution, Arkham Asylum, and proceeds to basically just kind of be like a super shitty sociopathic. Like, he loses his mind. He totally loses his mind.
Bit, yeah.
And it's said that he still haunts the halls in Arkham Asylum. So
right.
Where Batman comes in is that on April Fool's Day, he gets Commissioner Gordon informs him that the inmates have taken over the asylum.
Yeah.
They need to speak to Batman, or else they're just going to kill everyone inside. Batman says that he'll do it, but he's afraid of being psychoanalyzed.
Right.
I think it seems like a weird fear, but that's okay. But anyway, so yeah, he goes in and there's not a lot of fighting in this book. It's just more or less a lot of, like, really intense conversations.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. So Joker says that he'll let him loose, and then they're all going to run after him.
Yeah, it seems like Joker is kind of like spearheading this whole movement. You know, from in the beginning. You know, we get, like you said, we get these, you know, cuts and, you know, cutaways to, you know, a child and the mother and this and that. But as far as the need for Batman to come into the asylum, it all seems like it's Joker's big to do, his big ball.
Right.
So yeah.
And they also explain something to the effect. Well, so, like, Batman's psychoanalyzed by a doctor in there, and, like, you know, it's revealed he's super fucked up.
A little. This is something this is kind of a theme that Grant Morrison has always kept pretty near the surface when he does Batman, and he's written a lot of Batman since Arkham Asylum, and this is a very different Batman than what we got when he was doing the monthly series. Like, it's a completely different kind of Batman, but the psychological issues and, you know, all these kind of psychological, philosophical, you know, all these things, these layers have always been kind of the signature move when Grant Morrison is writing Batman. And
this is also the first book too where they sort of make an attempt to sort of explain what's up with the Joker.
Yeah, to some extent.
They call him. It's like it's either something like super sanity or like hyper something or other.
Right.
Basically saying that the Joker doesn't have a filter.
Right.
To filter out stimuli. So he can't really shut anything off or tune anything out.
Right. That's like also kind of another signature move of Morrison, to throw an explanation on there in some way that sounds really good, original, and pretty reasonable without taking all the wind out of the sails or making it suddenly boring or trite.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get to it a little bit too. Grant Morrison wrote my favorite my favorite miniseries from my favorite he wrote All-Star Superman that I want to talk about in a little bit too, because I adore the Jesus out of this book. Yeah. Yeah. I figure while we're on the subject, I mean, we'll talk about it like in vampire voices or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, we can do that. Yeah, I'm sure that's fine.
Exactly.
But anyways, so then they let Batman loose in the asylum, and then sort of Batman just sort of runs in to Rogues Gallery member after Rogues Gallery member.
Right.
Until so he runs into Clayface, and then it's Mad Hatter, and then the Penguin, and I really like the Penguin. Period. I think that he's actually a really cool, because he just seems like a gangster.
Yeah, when I was young, I thought he was the most boring villain ever. I thought this is ridiculous. This is dumb. But then when I got a little older and I stopped being so stupid, as many children just can't help it because they're they're young. They don't have the access to smart things so much. But then when I got a little smarter, then I realized, wow, the Penguin is a cool villain. He is just a gangster. He's just he just deals in resource and information. And that's all he has, and he uses it. It's a really cool character. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I just wanted to.
It's all right. Yeah. The thing that I do love the most about the Penguin, though, is just how obvious most of his moves are. It's hey, Batman. Commissioner Gordon says we got a tip. We've beefed up security at the museum tonight because the rare pink flamingo diamond is on display, and Batman's just oh, I better look in to see who might steal this, but it's gonna be the Penguin, right. And then also probably Catwoman will show up.
Yeah,
and
right.
The Penguin makes Batman's job so easy.
It's true. It's true. I really like the Penguin when they don't use him like a thug, or like a thug, it's just some dude, he's gonna steal the pink flamingo diamond. Yeah. But when he's just chilling out in his club, then the Penguin is a really good character.
Did you ever watch any Gotham? I think you and I talked about this at one time.
Yeah, I watched the whole first season, but then I forgot to start watching the second season.
That's exactly what happened to me too. But yeah, no, the Penguin's incredible.
That dude,
just so incredible. Yeah,
that's incredible. He's super cool.
Yeah, but getting back to Arkham Asylum, so this is the first one where it's not implied so much as it is just Penguin full on says that he's a pedophile.
Right.
Right. Which is
true. They kind of darken up a few characters, and everyone gets a pretty grim makeover in this one, and it's this is early in the grim makeover game. Of course, Batman had the gritty pulp crime makeover already, and this came out in 1989, so the Tim Burton movie had just come out, and so everyone was kind of amped. They were okay. Yeah, Batman is wearing black and he's dark and gritty. But even in the comic books, he had gotten the makeover. But he was one of the first ones. But then it's with this book where they just kind of let Morrison and
just no matter what,
McKean,
just whatever. Because Clayface is a goblin. That's right. Clayface is 3 feet tall and has a hamburger head.
Yeah,
he
and
looks
they call him
guy from. Sorry, he looks like the guy from Trick or Treat, whatever that kid's name is.
All right. Yeah, I forgot what they call him, but totally. Yeah. And even in in this book, who is it that describes it is Batman? They describe Clayface as AIDS with legs. He's just AIDS with legs. Wow. You just thought of that line, brutal. You wrote it, and they printed it. Wow, that's rough. All right, it's gonna be that kind of day, okay? All right.
That was the Don Rickles roast of of Clayface.
Yes.
Oh man, that's brutal. I don't like that. I gotta read that book again and feel, because I was even like going through it. I'm like, where the fuck was Clayface? Because like, basically all I really know of Clayface is from the animated series, and he's like this.
Oh right.
He's like 6 feet. He's like 6 feet tall and 7 feet wide.
Right.
And like that's Clayface. And here's this.
If you flip through it, you kind of miss
Gollum.
him. Yeah.
So I had to go back and look at it again. I'm like, that poor guy. And like all he's saying is like, my skin is sick.
Yes.
And like AIDS with legs. That's harsh, man.
It's pretty harsh. Oh man. Yeah.
But yeah, Penguin's like basically the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, I think he's actually smoking hashish in.
Right.
I think he is. I'd have to go back.
I think you're right.
Again, but I think he's actually getting high.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he just sort of like lays a trip on Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like in the middle of it, he goes off on like how much he likes kids, and then like Batman just sort of like walks away. Like, and that's kind of what happens the whole book. Is like he has a conversation.
Yeah. And Batman, it's just like each conversation ends with this revulsion on Batman's part. Like, I don't feel bad about beating you in the face countless times. Let's see who else we got. Oh, what do you have to say? Oh, yeah, I'm glad I beat you up a lot too. Okay.
Yeah.
And just keeps on going.
I was going to say, except for the next guy he meets is Maxie Zeus.
Maxie Zeus, I always kind of feel sorry for in every incarnation, whether it's the cartoon or whether it's comics. I always feel a little sympathy for Maxie Zeus. He just seems a little broken, like a mentally broken.
Yeah. And like, I don't mean to, at the risk of coming off as ignorant, like I had no fucking clue who this guy was when I read it. I thought like, oh, is this like Batman didn't fight anybody who was made out of electricity? Like, this is weird.
Right.
It's like, and the whole scene is gorgeously drawn. Like, it's just all in the dark.
Yeah.
And I guess the idea is Maxie Zeus is hooked up to electroshock therapy and just like he's in heaven, basically, because this is all he ever wanted. But he's like in agony, and like at the end of it, Batman's just like, nah, I don't think I need to go over there, and he leaves.
Right.
But yeah, like looking at Maxie Zeus, he was a guy who thought he was Zeus's kid, and then shortly thereafter got beat up so bad that he didn't think that he was anymore.
Right.
And he's here.
Like that.
Yeah.
And here they make him a little old and kind of weak. Yeah. Like normally in whenever I've seen Maxie Zeus, he's always this really flamboyant Greek god style thing. Like he just stepped out of the most fabulous pantheon you can think of. But here it's true. He's just like he's just kind of this broken little man that's been plugged in forever.
I mean, everyone else in that asylum escapes so many times. Like, it's nuts how often they escape. But if Maxie Zeus is only in maybe like a handful of Batman comics.
Yeah, like I want to say I've only
maybe
seen
he just
him.
Doesn't escape that often.
Maybe.
So, like, he's all fucked up.
Yeah. Like, if I think back, I can only really recall one story in which Maxie Zeus was terrorizing the streets of Gotham. Other than that, he's always been in Gotham and always exchanges a few words with Batman whenever he comes to visit. But that's it. Like I can't think of any real Maxie Zeus story arcs, to be honest.
Batman gets a lot of credit for having like the coolest rogues gallery. Yeah. But like if you actually sort of like look behind like the A-listers, there is an ocean. Like they skip B, like I think the only B-lister might be like Poison Ivy and Bane. Yeah. And then after that there's just like they skip C, D, and E, and it's just like straight to F listers. Like
it's true.
Like even the Mad Hatters in this book, but that I feel like he was only there to maybe reference this sort of Alice in Wonderland thing that
I think so
Morrison
too.
and McKean were going for. Because,
Yeah.
like, he's
Mad
another
Hatter
guy
sucks.
that's just, not... Is very conceptual. That doesn't mean you can fight crime, or like that doesn't mean that you can run. You're not a supervillain just because you got
a bunch of hats.
You bought a hat. No, that's not. No. Anyways, and so after that, he had basically one of only 2 fights in the book. I think Batman has like a really cool fight with Killer Croc. Yeah,
it's very kinetic. It's really like, I don't know, the way it's painted, especially compared to all the stillness of the previous pages. Then when there's some movement, some action, it looks pretty rough. It's
and it's more or less told through like silhouette.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, it's just really well done, especially for a book that just doesn't have like this is in no way an action book.
Right.
It is just sort of like a fucked up nightmare.
Yeah.
Is the whole thing. But yeah, I couldn't I didn't have time to look into like what poem is going on while they're fighting.
Oh, right.
It's all about a dragon. It's like this dragon.
Yeah, I knew it at one point because I thought it was so cool that there was this archaic poem in there that I looked it up, and now I'm hard pressed to remember what it was.
Yeah.
But it's of something pretty smart.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of Moby Dick, but I don't think it was Moby Dick.
No. That's a great book.
But yeah, he has a bitchin' fight with Killer Croc.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember. I think he speaks to at least 1 or 2 other dudes until he finally goes and confronts the Joker, and
all right, he kills Killer Croc with the spear, the giant spear, like I don't know, do they
like
say
a steeple?
in there?
It's like the spear
like
from a steeple or something like that.
There's a giant statue of Michael out there. Like, I don't know if it's like Archangel Michael or whatever, but there's a giant statue with a bronze spear.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And Batman just comes in, and I always thought it was a little weird because it's so big and so absurd that he could just leap through with this giant metal spear, but it works. Like, it looks good enough to work, so I never questioned it too much. Oh yeah, so then afterwards he finally finds Homeboy.
Yeah, and so the director of Arkham Asylum actually let everybody out because
what a dope.
In Amadeus Arkham's journals, he mentioned that when he finally realized that what his mother was freaking out about when she was dying before she slit her own throat was that she had seen a bat in their house. So when Amadeus Arkham was institutionalized in Arkham Asylum, he had spent something like 30 years scratching a spell into his jail cell, like with his fingernails. So the director wanted to bring Batman here because he thought that if he could kill Batman or like lock him in that cell or something like that, there would be no crime left in Arkham.
It's reasonable.
Like that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's better than it's like they haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
You know. Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth a try.
Yes.
But anyways, and so he gets killed. He's wrestling Batman to the ground, and then like the doctor who had analyzed Batman when he first came in stabs him, and then there's a weird thing in that though. So she stabs him and the director in the face, and he dies. And like she's freaking out, and Batman says he got what he deserved.
Yeah, that's a rough.
Yeah,
that's a moment for Batman. That's like he never kills, but if a villain is doing something incredibly stupid, and then accidentally chucks himself off a roof or something like that, and there was no chance Batman could save him, then it's always like Batman's like, yeah, that's the way it goes. We try not to let that happen. But in this book, Batman is just straight up, that's okay.
Yeah, and even prior to that, like the dude's on top of him, and he's like about to stab him in the face with a scalpel or something like that.
Yeah.
And Batman screams at this woman. I think he says something like, "Do something."
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
I'm just Batman. Like, do something about this.
Right. Jesus, for God's sakes, help me out. Hook a brother up.
Yeah, and then she kills the director, and then Batman, he got what he deserved, is what, like, Jesus. Yes. And then, Batman has a conversation with the Joker. Well, like, Batman says to the doctors, like, I'm gonna sort this out. Don't worry about it. So Batman goes and finds the Joker and Harvey Dent. And we forgot to mention that Harvey Dent, at the beginning of the book, it was explained that the doctors who he was working with had introduced like a pack of tarot cards for him to make decisions with.
Oh, right, that's right. That was a cool idea.
So instead of having like
just a 50-50
black and white decision-making thing, he had like 75 decisions choices that he could make.
Right.
But he shits his pants at the beginning of the book because he can't decide whether he's going to go to the bathroom or not.
Right. I think this is such a cool thing. I totally forgot about that. That's actually one of my favorite moments from the whole book. Like this psychological idea that, you have this psychopath. He's a really super psychopath. Just a flip of a coin and he'll let you live or die. And so instead of that, give him a pack of tarot, like a fucking tarot card. Are you kidding me? Tarot cards?
Yeah. It like, on one hand, that's just a recipe for.
Yes, and it's. Yeah. On one hand, you can say, "Wow, that's a great therapy idea." On the other hand, you can say, "That's the worst therapy idea ever." And so to put this, like, I would read a book just about Two-Face trying to transition from a coin to tarot cards. That's just a really clever idea.
I've actually started to really, really like Harvey Dent. Like after reading this, and I've been reading the Long Halloween as well. And Harvey Dent is just like, he's just a dude.
Yeah, Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale really do a good job with Harvey Dent in those. Yeah,
and I just I forget how it came up, but my wife and I were just discussing the Dark Knight, like the movie, in just the other day, because we were talking about Aaron Eckhart. That's right, and
your fetish, your affinity for Aaron Eckhart.
I love Aaron. Thank You for Smoking is
that's a great
movie. killer movie.
Yeah.
But we were talking about how disappointing it was that they didn't do more with Harvey Dent and Two-Face, Aaron Eckhart, Harvey Dent, like.
Yeah, the Two-Face part was kind of just like a flash, just here and gone.
I really think that I don't buy that Christopher Nolan had always envisioned this to be a trilogy. Like that just seems like a weird thing to say before you release the third one.
Yeah, I had heard something contrary, that he might have said something along the lines of that the third one was actually never part of the original plan. That it was just that they were just, they had the ideas, they had a bunch of ideas, but then they would keep going. But then when the third one came around, that they just kind of put it together and did it.
Yeah.
Just to finish their thing.
And I don't know. I'm way more comfortable in believing that because the last one was out of control bad. But I just think that Heath Ledger died, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, that ruins our new storyline." Yeah, so they had to go and reshoot a bunch of shit. But like, I still don't understand why they just couldn't have recast him. Like, he killed himself. Like, it's not like.
Yeah, I mean, whether it was a suicide or accident or whatever, like it's.
Yeah.
And we all would have been shocked and stuff like that, but we all still would have gone to see the movie. And we all still, so many people would still buy it on DVD and Blu-ray. Like, money would not be lost.
I don't think that would have been disrespectful to recant. Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird. But and then So Batman and Joker have some words.
Yeah.
And then Batman suggests, like, Batman opens up, like, all the cells and, like, opens up the front door to Arkham Asylum. And he's like, everyone go wherever you want now. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And Joker says, kill him. And then Batman says, why don't we let Harvey decide? And he gives Harvey his coin back.
Yeah.
And then Harvey flips his coin.
It's
He
so
says
cool.
Batman's free to go, and so Batman goes, and then Harvey looks at his coin, and the bad side had come up on the coin. So like he just let Batman live.
Yeah. And these these two pages where like he flips the coin, he says Batman goes free. And then you turn the page, and then it's these two pages. I think these are two of my favorite pages in the whole book where you see Harvey just walking away. Like he's alone. Like he walks away from Batman and Joker. And he's just looking at his coin, and then he looks at the way he looks at the tarot cards. The way it's drawn and painted is so good. Like you can really see the body language that Harvey made his own decision, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then he looks at the tarot cards and he says, who cares for you? You know? Just like, I don't know, like this is such a moment of strength that I thought it was super cool. And then he slaps the house of cards away. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was going to say everything like as like frenetic and sort of horrifying as this entire book is, like the way that it's written, the way that it's drawn, whatever. All of the characters are really sharp and really defined. Like even the Joker, whose text is really difficult to read because it's written all in red.
Right, and there's no word balloon, no border or anything. It's just
and it's all scribbled and scratchy and all of that crap.
Yeah, it's as wild as his personality almost. Like his words are just his own personality vomiting onto the page. Yeah,
it's almost like it's not a thought. It's just he didn't think about it. He just fucking said it. Like, and that's
right.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, like all of the characters, everything is. You kind of know all you really need to know about a character the first time you meet them, which I think is a really cool. I mean, that's a triumph. You know what I mean, in storytelling. Like that's fantastic. How did you like this is the first? I think this is probably like the first time that the Joker was drawn like an animal. You know what I mean?
I think you're right. Yeah. I mean, he was always exaggerated, but not like this. This is like Dave McKean went all out, and like it looks like there's like he had he sculpted a special mask or clay bust and photographed it and then altered it with photography and paint as well. You know, it's just it's way out there. I liked it. I thought it was really cool. The first time I saw it, I will say, I thought like, it's a bit much. There's a couple shots where it's like, okay, let's not go insane here. But the more,
especially since the Joker only like he really only speaks in the comic, and so like whenever you see the Joker, it's a close up,
right?
And his eyes are it's like he like ripped off his eyelids or something like that. So his eyes are always bugging out like a half inch further.
And his chin is like a shoehorn hanging off the bottom of his face. And after now that I've read it so many times and I really appreciate Dave McKean's style, now I like it. But I will say in the beginning, I loved it for the most part, but there are some shots where I thought, okay, let's rein it in a little.
I just, you have a hard time believing that the Joker could be a criminal mastermind,
right? Or exist in any kind of real
level of this level of intensity all of the time.
Yeah, right.
Like whenever I'd like to hire you to do a job. Nope. Yeah.
Right. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, just crazy.
It's true. And also sometimes when it's so extreme, it's hard for me to imagine this character existing in any kind of real space time, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas the others, I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not a criticism. It's just something that would cross my mind whenever I look at a few shots that Dave McKean went really crazy with when he drew the Joker.
Yeah. And with that said, though, like the whole comic does sort of read like a sociopath's journal. You know what I mean? Like just even the way that the so there'll be like panels that look like they're backed on 200-year-old parchment paper.
Yeah.
And there'll just be like 3 panels, like one on the far left, one in the middle, and then one on the right, and then the rest will be black.
Yeah.
Like it's super cool, and you know, like all of the villains and even Batman too, like it's almost like caricatures, I guess, in a way. And the Joker's visage is pushed, maybe like you were saying, is pushed like just slightly outside of the realm of reasonable possibility.
Yeah,
but it still works. It still works for sure.
Yeah, totally. It definitely works. I wonder if everything were pushed that far, if I would have even noticed. Because if you look at Harvey Dent looks like he almost looks photorealistic in the way Dave McKean drew him and sketched him out. And so, I don't know. Like it's a nonsense question I just asked, but I love it. I think it's really cool. As far as artists who do this kind of stuff go, there's this guy Dave McKean, and the one guy who, you know, no offense Dave, but like one guy who resonates with my brain patterns even more is Bill Sienkiewicz. And he's also done some Batman stuff, and he did the Elektra graphic novel with Frank Miller and stuff like that. And he's also another one where he just doesn't give a shit what he uses. Like if this panel, if the sentiment or the meaning of this panel requires that he use a crayon and, you know, on a white piece of the notebook paper with the blue lines, you know, just the cheap school paper, and then then I think that would look good if I did the next 12 panels on the same page as an oil painting, then so be it. And he does it. Oh, I forgot the red yarn. Damn, you know. And so suddenly you have it's just a masterpiece of, you know, super, you know, high level art mixed with, you know, like a scribble. You know, sometimes it looks like he scribbled something. If he's right-handed, it looks like he scribbled it with his left hand, and it's perfect. And, you know, this Bill Sienkiewicz and Dave McKean are just, I don't know how their brains work, and I wish I did, because they can really just, they know exactly what the story needs. And it's always, you know, unconventional. It ranges from purely unconventional to, I don't know, some of the most conventional. Sometimes it's just, you know, a panel or a page will be just purely academic, you know, drawing 101. Yeah, it's all just, like, I'm just passing out hand jobs right now. It's just, I'm not saying anything new. It's just great artwork.
No, for sure. No, I was going to ask though. So, given that, like, do you think Grant Morrison's just the way that he does things? Do you think that it works well? Do you think that it works better with a guy like McKean, or do you like it when his stuff seems like a lot? Because I do like Grant Morrison. I do like how linear his stories seem to be for the most part. Like he's just a really good storyteller. Yeah. So sometimes, like, I do love this book, although sometimes I did feel like some of the artistry was sort of distracting from a lot of the story.
I agree completely. For me as well. When the first few times I read, when I was younger and I read it, I didn't notice this at all. It was only until I started reading more Grant Morrison, and that he became one of my favorite storytellers on earth. And then I can read Arkham Asylum, and I do kind of wish that that they had let him choose the artist, because I had read that he didn't choose Dave McKean. He wanted actually Brian Boland to draw this one, and Brian Boland has a very clean style. He's, it's not cartoonish. I don't know if you look at any cover for the Invisibles or for Doom Patrol, or like everyone will recognize Brian Boland's style. It's very clean, very realistic, but still a little stylized, very, very cool. But it's just very clean. It's a clean thing. And I think with Grant Morrison, I feel like his stories kind of belong in a world that is clean, like the one, similar to the one we see. I like to compare Grant Morrison's stories with the world around me, and kind of wish that I might turn a corner and accidentally find myself in in something like that. But with Arkham Asylum, when you have someone like Dave McKean going crazy, then it's difficult to do that. It's still a great book.
Yeah. Well, I thought that it was a really cool, it was almost like a really neat exercise in just even storytelling. But I do sort of, I do agree with you, because, and I'll save everyone the vampire voice, but like All-Star Superman is pretty much the only Superman book I think anybody really needs to read.
It's so good.
Like Superman has been, for such a classic character, he actually really hasn't had too many amazing storylines that have existed outside of someone else's book.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, and Grant Morrison, he used Frank Quitely in that one.
Yeah.
And again, the art style was perfect for this story.
It was gorgeous. And the thing that I loved the most about it was Clark Kent looked like Superman in a suit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like Superman looked like Clark Kent not wearing glasses. Like, if you look at Clark Kent, he's just this big, moosey, right,
almost a little dumpy, because you can almost kind of see that Superman is actually kind of pushing out his stomach. It's drawn in such a way that you can see that Superman is consciously choosing to slouch and push his stomach out a bit.
Yeah, and that was the first book that I kind of understood how nobody in the world could think that this 6'5" dumpy hick from fucking small town Kansas was the world's greatest.
It's true.
Anything.
That's really true. I didn't think of it in such a succinct way, but it's really true. That's the first book where you see, okay, obviously no one's going to put that together. Look at this big galoot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but the Morrison wrote that too, and it was just perfect. It was so so beautiful, and it was
it's so hopeful and so I don't know. It's really the opposite of everything that was happening in comics when it came out, because when that came out, it was like the gritty overhaul had gone into overhaul. It was going into overtime on every character across the board, no matter what. And then Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely come out with this super bright, shiny, hopeful, beautiful piece with Superman and Lois Lane, and there's some romance, and there's some fun and humor, and it's bright colors. Yeah.
And it was still a Death of Superman book.
Yeah, totally.
But it was just great, and I don't know, I fell in love with Grant Morrison. I'd always liked him, but after reading All-Star Superman, it was like, this guy, I just fucking love this guy now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about let's just talk about this real fast because there isn't much to say. So I did actually a little bit of research on the asylum that Arkham Asylum is based off of.
Hit me with it. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, so it's a Danvers State Hospital.
Okay.
Also known as the State Lunatic Hospital at Danvers, the Danvers Lunatic Asylum.
Is that really like the
others, which is, yeah, no, straight
the lunatic
the fuck
asylum? Up. They call it that. That's not.
Yep.
That's not.
It was
CP.
It was
PC.
Yeah. No. Well, at that time it was. I don't know. I think you were allowed to basically call anyone anything at that
I guess
time.
so. Yeah.
So.
The Danvers Bug House.
Yeah. So, anyways, no, it was just a big scary. This was really interesting. It was used. What did I read here? There's actually a standard. According to the Kirkbride plan, that's it. So the Kirkbride plan was an architectural design that was laid out so that the patients could actually get the most, they would get like optimal sunlight.
Wow.
And optimal fresh air. And
when was this built?
Have their own private. This was built in 1874.
That's pretty forward thinking.
Yeah, it was.
It's like for mental health, or not mental health, but it's like for things. Some things it seems like they started with a forward thought and then they actually moved backwards. Because I can't imagine, an institution in the 30s or 40s or 50s being built with such things in mind.
Well, I guess what happened to Danvers is that they had a lot of really they had the best of intentions.
Okay.
But I guess they didn't anticipate how expensive everything was going to be and how many patients they were going to have being sent to their hospital. And then plus at that time, it's not like you're getting donations from all over the place.
Right.
I'm not even so sure that they would have got even a lot of like government money at that time. So they started just even putting people in the basement.
Cool.
And so the basement of the Danvers, and like if you play the Arkham Asylum like video game, and I think they showed a little bit in the comic book as well. Like there's just these giant labyrinth.
Yeah.
Of like interconnecting sewer tunnels all over the base. It's just terrifying shit. So anyways, but yeah, they would just start throwing patients down there, like 3 or 4 patients to a room. Like it was just nuts. And this was also I think the first hospital that started working with electroshock therapy.
Right on.
And lobotomies.
Okay.
Really so just not a cool place to be.
At least they have plenty of sunlight to rest in.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's rough.
And yeah, then it was shut down in the 60s, which it seems like a really long. Like it's a long time to keep it going. Same thing with Alcatraz. Alcatraz was shut down in the 60s, which I feel like fucking Kennedy. Kennedy was the one that had to say like this. No.
Yeah,
we're not locking people up in a Civil War prison anymore.
Yeah,
like that.
What
we're
the
not
hell?
doing that. And yeah, now it's
apartment buildings. Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I would not want to fucking live there.
Yeah. Do you think there's ghosts that roam the halls and blah blah blah?
No.
All right.
Because as we established in our ghost episode, that ghosts don't exist. So, but it's like
some bad I just don't know if I'd want to.
I just don't know if I'd want to poop there.
All right.
Like you live there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to be intimate with my wife in like an old lunatic asylum.
Right. Well, I'm sure they swapped out the cots and put in some new beds. Throw a fresh coat of paint on the walls for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is your room. Enjoy. Just so you know, an inmate used another inmate's skull that he had ripped off of his neck and smashed the sink to pieces. So unfortunately, you don't have a sink, but
no, we gave you a bucket.
You do have most of a skull. If you need to,
most of a skull for your sink. Yeah. That's true. I mean, we know. Yeah, you might want to say like it's happened. It closed down in the '60s, but I mean, shit takes time. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah. How many skulls do you think we have to find to make you a new sink? I mean, geez.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't believe in ghosts, but I do believe that you can leave your energy places.
All right. Fair
like
enough.
if you had a, I don't know, I believe in like, if you have a lucky hat, like I can kind of get into that because, like you're the energy,
yeah.
And whatever. I think that can live on in certain places. But
yeah.
I wouldn't want to. I just wouldn't want to poop there.
Right.
I just wouldn't want to spend the night there.
Fair enough.
I know this is an extreme example, but like, if you were to go to Germany and visit one of the old camps, like,
right.
I would walk around. I would observe, whatever. But I wouldn't be like, can I just go to the bathroom? Like, I don't think I don't think I could do that.
No,
I think I would
smiling selfies or anything. It's just.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would just feel weird about kind of.
Yeah.
Doing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of doing anything in this place.
Fair enough. Yeah, from that perspective, I totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So from concentration camps, let's move right on to. So like movie. Like, did you wanna?
Like an adaptation.
Movie?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Do you have anyone in mind? Like I went first last time.
I was gonna say that I really if they were gonna make like a movie based on this book and tried to stay sort of as true to it as possible, it would need to be a Ralph Bakshi movie.
Wow.
Which is one of the highest compliments I think that any.
Yeah. I didn't see that coming at all. That's a really bitchin' idea. That'd be crazy.
I don't think we've had this conversation. I fucking love Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah, fair enough. You should.
I adore, like, the fucking, I don't know. So it would be rotoscope, is what I'm saying. So the Arkham Asylum would be a rotoscope movie.
Of course. Did you like Cool World?
I really did like Cool World.
Yeah.
I really, really liked it. And I think I was young enough when I saw it that how juvenile it was didn't really bother me. No,
me neither. I think I was young enough as well. And I mean, like at the risk of sharing a little too much, I rubbed so many out to that movie. Like, wow.
What do you mean at the risk of sharing too much?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if this is a personal. I don't know if at the risk of sharing too much. No, that was a totally acceptable.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I mean, it's Gabriel Byrne. Everyone loves that guy.
But yeah, it was I think I was a little bit younger than you, I guess.
Yeah, just by a few years, yeah. So you weren't.
So I just watched it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That was. I'm not even. Never mind.
I was
still masturbating to He-Man at that time. Like I was still young.
Okay.
No, I love Cool World.
Cool.
I go back and watch it every couple of years, but I guess the more that I've read about it, I just kind of feel bad for the movie.
Really? I haven't read anything about it. I only know that's where my crush on Kim Basinger came from, and probably where, a relatively questionable fascination with cartoon females came from as well.
Yeah, and why there was a hike in tube sock sales in
yes,
in Florida that summer.
Exactly. Wow, I have to watch that again.
Oh God.
Sorry, everyone.
No, Cool World was supposed to be a much almost sort of like a Fritz the Cat kind of. It was supposed to be really violent and really. It was supposed to be very rated R.
Okay.
And I think the producers got a little anxious with what was happening, and the movie turned into like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit sort of knockoff in a way. Like it was just a weird. It just didn't turn out the way that anybody wanted it to, other than the fucking producers, I guess. But no, I fucking love Cool World. So I was gonna say Ralph Bakshi is directing.
That would be so cool.
That would be incredible. I think for Batman, I don't know. I had thought about it a little bit. I think I would kind of want someone like a little bit, like maybe even like a John Hamm, like a little
That'd
bit,
be great.
a little bit, like a bigger guy. But like Batman was pretty doughy in this book. You know what I mean? Like he did seem like he had a bit of a.
Really, I always thought of him as like a little stringy, but not so defined. Like he has like the skinny guy definition in the arms, where you see all the tendons and muscles and stuff like that. But it's not like it's not the Batman that we read about where he's pumping iron like a crazy person. It's it's the marathon runner kind of Batman. But even with a little less definition in like the torso area.
Well, he was, and that's what I mean. Like he, and like I guess there were some panels where he was like hunched over, being like held down, and just the way that McKean drew him, it almost looked, he just didn't look like he had like a 12-pack, like he was he was just a regular guy.
Yeah.
And he was also super like very vulnerable in this book, like both emotionally and physically. It just seemed like everywhere he went, it was a challenge.
Right.
So, but I think John Hamm could do a good job with that.
That would be cool.
I think I'd like to see that. Yeah. And then I think so I was going to do Batman, the Joker, Harvey Dent, and then probably Amadeus, and then the rest can just be whatever, like just even regular cartoony people.
Yeah.
So for the Joker, I don't know. Who's the guy that played Max Headroom again? Can't remember his name.
Oh, that's
He was a Canadian dude. I think that was a Canadian show.
Oh, I forgot his name. That's so dumb. I love that guy. Every time I see him in a movie or a TV show, instantly that product is 10 times better. He's so entertaining. Is it Matt Fewer?
No, he played. I don't know what the hell's going on. I only watched a little bit of this show. I don't know why I'm having such a problem with this. Oh, actually, you know what? You know who I would prefer? Would be fucking Buckaroo Banzai himself, Peter Weller. I could see Peter Weller kicking the shit out of Joker in this.
That would be incredible.
In this.
As Batman, yeah. So, Peter Weller would be good. Like, he did the voice for the Dark Knight Returns animated feature. Did you see that?
I did. That was really good.
Yeah, they did a really sharp job on that. And he did the voice for Batman in that. I thought it was
Yes, he did. Yeah,
perfect.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. No, that would be... So, John Hamm is Batman. Peter Weller is Joker. Fucking love Peter Weller.
Wow, that'd be crazy cool, Peter Weller as Joker. Yeah. That's a good one. Shit.
I don't know.
I should have went first. I want to say these.
I'm sorry.
I want to use Peter Weller as Joker.
You kind of used mine the last time too. Like you can just use mine and you're like, oh yeah, no, I had that idea as well. I was like, yeah,
I wrote that down months ago.
And yeah, I guess for Two-Face, who's a fucking Michael Ian Black? Have Michael Ian Black.
That would be
Two-Face.
cool.
Yeah, because I don't know. He just kind of had this. He just kind of had that kind of that handsome. Michael Ian Black is very handsome, but he also has that. He could also play pretty fucking crazy. I think if he needed to. And then Amadeus Arkham.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the fuck is that dude's name that I had all of these in my head. I'm just kind of forgetting everybody right now. Fuck, he's that blonde dude. Ed Begley Jr. Why not? Fuck.
You can never go wrong with the Begley Jr.
I don't give a fuck. Ed Begley, yeah, whatever. You want to play Amadeus Arkham? Ed Begley Jr.? Who is this? Just answer the fucking question, Mr. Begley Jr. Do you want to play Amadeus Arkham?
Yeah.
I guess so. And then click. And then, yeah, no problem. So that's my pick, as directed by Ralph Bakshi.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. I guess it's my. Well, it's a hard act to follow. All right.
Yeah.
Directing. Okay, I have to think about directing, so I'll put that last. For Batman, as soon as I said Gabriel Byrne from Cool World, I can't shake him as Batman. I think that might be kind of cool. I mean, not now. Do we still have the time machine from the Black Hole episode? Can I?
I didn't use the time machine this time around because we're going back. Like, you're using the time machine to go back so far.
But you're the one that wanted to cast Jesus or the.
Well then let's fucking think big. If we're we're having a time machine.
Yeah.
You wanted to get David Duchovny to star,
yes.
a young David Duchovny to star in a movie today,
yes.
Which I feel like that would take way more explanation than if you just went back in time and and told fucking Caesar Augustus that you need to take him somewhere. Look, man, I'm gonna need you to play Wolverine in this movie. Just
yeah.
I'll explain on the way.
Yeah, I mean, brace yourself. It's gonna be a weird experience. You're not gonna. You're gonna be vomiting and just going out of your head when you see all the crazy shit. Like there's cameras, and I can't even tell you what that is. But just trust us.
Don't even ask.
Yeah.
Just went back in time and it's got Charlemagne. It's like, look, I'm gonna need you to. Look, there's this guy. His name is Cyclops. He leads the X-Men. He has lasers for eyes. I'm going to need you to pretend to be him for a couple of months, and then I'll return you home.
Oh, that's the best.
Rather than just like, okay, so Mr. Duchovny, yes, you're an actor. Yes, you have you're a well-established actor with a fan base and everything. We're going to do this movie.
Yeah.
But then I'm going to have to return you to your time, and you can't. You have to do everything the same.
Mum's
what
the
did
word.
I do?
Don't even.
I don't know. I don't know what you did.
It's true. Wow, this is going to be a complicated production.
I think so. So use your time machine. That's
okay,
fine.
thank you. Sorry,
but you were saying that the time machine had a. You were saying that the time machine had a budget, and the further back you go, the more expensive it is for some reason.
Yes, there's like a little ticker for the date, and right next to it is just a ticker for the cost.
It's like $500 a year, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so so we go back and we get a young Gabriel Byrne for Batman, which I think would be pretty cool. Okay, and then while we're back there, we don't have to go anywhere. It's just a lateral move to pick up.
So are you saving money at this point? Is that what you're thinking you're doing?
I'm saving money here, and we pick up Lance Henriksen from the same time period for Arkham. All right, and for Joker, I think it would be cool to do, I don't know, like David Koechner, maybe? I think he could do a pretty wild Joker and pull it off in a realistic, believable way, but still be completely out there and weird like this Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And I love David. I think David Koechner is one of my favorite people in movies right now. He's so funny and so crazy, but he can also still be really sympathetic in a very realistic way. And let's see here. Two-Face, that's a tricky one. Two-Face. I'm going to need the time machine again.
Okay.
Are you looking up? I see the look on your face. David Koechner, he was, I think maybe he's most recognizable from the Anchorman movies. He was, I forget his character's name, but he was like with the cowboy hat, whammy.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Really? He would be the Joker?
Yes.
Oh, God. That's interesting.
I think, yeah. That's interesting. I think it'd be
yeah, that's interesting.
All right.
Yeah. No, that's a very bold choice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you could bring the gravitas and the silliness at the same time.
No, I think that's a really, honestly, that's that's at least interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's one of my faves. For Two-Face, yeah, we need to pull out the time machine again, because we can either, I don't know, it's maybe the same time period. It depends on who's available. We go back maybe 10 or 15 years.
Depending on their schedule, you have a time machine. You can just...
I know, it's true, but I don't know, maybe one is busy with, who knows. Anyway, Mark Harmon or Gary Oldman.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. I wonder if Mark Harmon and Gary Oldman has ever been considered for the same role.
I mean, I hope so.
I hope so too. I like them both. Mark Harmon is always whenever I see Mark Harmon, I always think kind of, similar to Ed Begley Jr. But Ed Begley Jr. is clearly like fun and funny and stuff like that and very personable. And Mark Harmon is always more serious. But there's something about those two guys where I always think like those two must be really good dads,
Yeah.
Gary Oldman does not come across as a good dad, to be honest, but he's a great actor. He's the best dad. I don't know him personally, but when
I thought that I saw Ed Begley Jr. once.
Really?
It was I live in Toronto, so it was during the film festival.
Okay.
And I was just at work. Like I wasn't at the film festival, but I was just at work. And, it's the summer, so, a lot of people are on patios. Mm-hmm. And I leave the building that I was working in, and I look over my shoulder, and there, sitting on the patio, I thought I saw Ed Begley Jr.
Wow.
And so I kind of Mr. Begley Jr. I ran up to him, but I kind of walked up to see if, my eyes were deceiving me or not.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Ed Begley Jr.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, this is probably the most disappointing, almost celebrity sighting, where it's like, oh, is that Jennifer Jason Leigh? And then you walk up and it's not Jennifer Jason Leigh, but she's still cute. That's all right. It's right. Oh man, is that? That's not Hulk. I don't know how you could see someone that you thought was Hulk Hogan and then walk up and then have it not be Hulk Hogan. But even if it's oh, is that Hulk Hogan? And you walk up, it's no, that's not Hulk Hogan, but this guy's still 6'5" and he's got a biker stash and a bandana on, and that's still pretty cool, I guess. But hey, is that Ed Begley Jr.? Nope, that's just kind of an ugly blonde dude.
Oh
okay,
God.
And then just on my way home.
Poor Ed.
I love Ed Begley Jr.
Me too. He's another one.
Go back. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Right
on. Canadian boys rolling around. As for the director, I think I would go with Michael Mann. I think he's maybe one of my top 5 favorite directors on earth. And I think he could probably do this pretty tight. like, granted, he has more of a quiet, or not quiet, but more realistic style. It's not like he wouldn't make it look like Dave McKean's artwork at all.
No.
But I think he could really take a story like this. I feel like Michael Mann's movies always feel like these huge epic things that, the epic story boiled down into one small personal tale. And that's kind of what this feels like to me. I mean, it's
all of Michael Mann's movies are pretty heavy. Like they're pretty,
yeah.
Like they're pretty heavy. They're pretty dense.
Yeah.
And it's just like a,
yeah. And it always comes down to like these. It always just comes down to these characters making decisions. You know, like you have even with something as huge as Heat. You have, citywide alert and automatic machine guns and all this bank robbery and all this crazy stuff going on. It all just his stories always boil down to really solid characters making a few decisions in the end. And so I think this he would be good for this, where it feels and looks huge, but it's actually just a few decisions needing to be made with a few good conversations, and then it's good and heavy, and you come out of there feeling satisfied, like you finally went and saw a movie where you didn't waste 2 hours of your life and some money.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. I mean, we both have two very different movies.
It's true.
Presented, but yeah,
right.
no, I think and I especially like the with the David Kocher or whatever, however you
David
pronounce
Koechner,
his last name again. Yeah. I think that's a really cool idea for Joker, for sure, yeah.
I dig the rotoscope and Bakshi route. I would see the hell out of that movie.
I would see the fuck out of that movie. I've been jonesing super hard to watch Wizards again.
I was just about to ask you, when was the last time you saw that? It's been many years for me, but it's...
I think maybe in my early 20s I watched it. And like whenever you watch it, it's not something you put on and you sit there with like your popcorn and your chips and your beer and you're like, they're fucking, yeah. It's like,
it's rough.
This movie.
It's a rough
fucking
haul.
Nuts fucking movie. Yeah. It doesn't let up.
It's goblins with guns and it's so dismal. This world that these heroes have to navigate. I really love it.
So I think that part of Lucas agreeing to do Return of the Jedi was that he wanted to do an animated film after he was done with the Star Wars trilogy. Okay. And he said, yes, okay, I'll do one more, but I want to do an animated movie with Ralph Bakshi. Wow. Ralph Bakshi is going to direct. I'm going to produce. Right. It's going to be fucking nuts.
Weird.
So I forget. That didn't work out for some reason, and I can't remember exactly why. But it was that falling out or that not happening that led to Lucas doing Howard the Duck.
Whoops. Thanks, Ralph, dickhead.
Thanks, bud. And Ralph, this was supposed to sort of be Ralph Bakshi's sort of like big break in the 80s. And it didn't happen.
That sucks.
For whatever reason. I can't remember the actual story behind it, but it was, I think it had something to do with the studio just not being interested in having fucking George Lucas and this guy that makes fucking weird ass cartoons. Do like an art film in the middle of the 80s, which is super fucking weird because like, David Lynch had a pretty, a pretty robust mainstream career.
It's true.
By the time the middle of the 80s happened. So like, I don't understand why we couldn't have like a big budget Ralph Bakshi movie. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. That would have been pretty cool.
Fuck, man. No, that would have been cool, man. Yeah, I get upset every once in a while when I fucking think about how well David Lynch did in the '80s. Like, I fucking love David Lynch, but like, there were a couple of movies there in the middle where I don't know if he knew what the fuck was happening. Like,
like which ones?
I love Wild at Heart.
I fucking love that movie, man.
I fucking love Wild at Heart.
Yes.
There's a lot of weird shit going on in that.
The movie is bananas. It's pretty out there.
And I don't know how everyone got paid as much as they got paid to make Wild at Heart. Yeah. And yeah, fucking David Lynch invented the
Coffee
fucking
Bean
primetime crime, like sequential crime thriller.
Yeah.
Like right there in the 80s.
Yeah,
like,
with Twin Peaks and stuff. And I had read some list, this was years and years ago, some magazine, some, periodical like Time or Life, or maybe it was even TV Guide, who knows. But they did a list of the most, was it most influential or most something like influential changes in television history and what it was that brought it about. And, obviously the two top ones were televised news and televised sports.
Mm-hmm.
And then Twin Peaks was on there for, making evening time, prime time crime drama or thriller drama, to put.
And like something that you had to watch.
Yeah, series.
Like
that's it.
If you didn't see the first 4 episodes.
Right. That's what it was.
Sorry.
Not just drama, but serialized drama in the evening. Yeah. And then I think another one was soap operas for daytime television. Yeah. Cartoons were on there, I think. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Did I just say Kwayze? I think I just said Kwayze.
That's fine.
Sorry, everyone.
No.
What's worse, me saying Kwayze or me, the idea of me just rubbing loads out just all over the house watching Cool World as an adolescent.
I couldn't walk into a new room. Became obsessive compulsive. It was weird.
It was Kwayze, indeed. Patrick Kwayze. That's what they used to call me.
Oh no.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I want to end there.
Right. Okay, fair enough. If Patrick Swayze came to you and said, I want to be in on this Arkham Asylum movie, what role would you give him? He would be a good Two-Face as well.
He might be. I don't know. I like,
As Batman, maybe. He would be a bitchin' Batman. I don't know. Like, I see him and I just see a hero. So maybe he's a little too bright for Batman Arkham Asylum. Because Patrick Swayze is just, he's the sun that shines down on my face when it's
it's the same with everyone, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I know I'm not alone in this one.
You're not special.
Yeah,
Patrick Swayze.
I'm speaking to a worldwide choir on this one. Like, Patrick Swayze is just, he's awesome. But if he really wanted, he's like, I need to be in this. I want to be in I love this comic book so much. I want to be in this production.
I'd be like, sorry, dude.
You're going to say no to Patrick Swayze?
Yeah, sorry, man. You died of cancer. I can't
That's
help
where
you.
We end this show.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry,
crazy.
man. Like, you died of what? Brain cancer? Like,
it was a brain cancer, yeah.
Yeah, it was brain cancer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you can't be in this. I think that's the only rule for your time machine.
That's discrimination.
It's like
That's racist.
You can't go back and get someone who's like super dead,
right?
And bring them, like, at least who died in the last 15 to 20 years. Because how's the world gonna respond? Because I know it's Patrick Swayze's back. He's in he's playing Gandalf.
But you're gonna get Charlemagne.
The Lord of the Rings prequels, like.
Wow, that'd be crazy.
That would be Kwayze.
That would be Kwayze. Oh my god, that would be his name for the Time Machine movies. He would be Patrick Kwayze.
So I guess we have defined the word Kwayze.
Yeah, I think so.
As crazy as it pertains to Patrick Swayze.
Yes. Or
crazy as it pertains to chronic masturbation.
Yes, I think so. I think that fits. That sits in the lexicon nicely.
Hey Rob, how was your weekend? It was
Kwayze.
Did you watch Roadhouse a bunch, or did you masturbate all weekend? It's like, I watched Roadhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you can continue to touch my stuff then.
Yeah. Right. So that was Arkham Asylum. I think that was good. I like that one.
We covered it.
I like this book. Yeah, we covered it. We did it. What more?
I love it.
I don't know what these people want, but like we did.
I don't know either.
We did it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You can't say that we didn't do it.
Finally, somebody talked about.
Yeah.
1989's Arkham Asylum.
Yeah. Let the record show.
Yeah. But cast your own Arkham Asylum and let us know what's up. You can either just leave it in the comments on the wherever you're watching or listening to this or whatever, or you can follow us on Twitter at WaterlooGN.
Yep.
Or email us at bighumandead@gmail.com.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
okie doke.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you for all of that information, Rob.
Yes. Thank you for taking it. For taking all of it.
All right. Okay. All right, buddy. All right. All right.
And
good night, Rob.
You, listening audience.
Jesus Christ.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.